Hey y'all, it's Debbie with Tailored by Debbie. Today I'm going to show you how to make an Easter table swag using these wood bunny wreath rails from the Dollar Tree. And what we're going to do next is use some heat transfer vinyl, and I am using the Cricut Strong Bond vinyl. That is their brand of the heat transfer vinyl, and I'm just going to lay down the wreath rail board with the shiny side down. There's two different sides of heat transfer vinyl. You want the shiny side down, and then the matte side is up. And we're going to take an ink pen and we're just going to trace all the way around the bunny rabbit. And then we're going to take some scissors and cut around the shape that we just traced, and then take the scissors and we're going to cut out the bunny shape. You want to cut right on the outside of where the ink is, where you traced it, so you'll make sure that you have plenty of vinyl to cover up the wood part of the bunny. Since this is a two-sided wreath rail board, you're going to want to complete this process twice, one bunny for each side of your rail board. So you'll want to cut out two of these bunnies, and then you will want to use the iron-on heat transfer vinyl technique, ironing it onto the wood on both sides of your rail board. And then you're going to want to use a piece of parchment paper. And I just buy this parchment paper from the Dollar Tree. You just need a piece of paper big enough to cover your iron-on image that you're going to be ironing on. So now we're going to take and line this up on the bunny the best that we can. And we're going to put the parchment paper down. I'm going to hold it down. And then I'm going to put the heat just on one section of it first to kind of get it to go down. Okay, and then it shouldn't move, and I'm going to bring it over here, put it down, and press my timer. And we're going to press it for 25 seconds at 315 degrees. Now, if you don't have a Cricut heat press, you could use an iron. I would put it on a medium-high setting and just set your iron down, a household iron, down over the parchment paper. Make sure you use parchment paper. If not, it'll stick to your iron. And then set a timer on your phone and leave it on there for about 25 seconds. Okay, and then we're going to take that off. And then we're going to look at it. We're going to let it cool down just a little bit. Okay, we're going to let that cool. And once it's cooled down a little bit, we're going to peel the plastic backing off of it. On the heat transfer vinyl, that shiny part doesn't stay on there. It actually comes off, and you'll need something pointy. And most of you guys that have a Cricut have one of these Cricut tools. You can buy these at the Dollar Tree, though, for $1.25. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to try to find a place here where we're just going to lift up the plastic backing, and we're going to leave the pink down, and all you have to do is get one of the corners up, and then you're going to peel it off. And I'm going to go ahead and take our Christmas trees out of their boxes. And guys, all you'll need is the actual tree itself. You're not going to need the feet, and you're not going to need this round piece. So just take those off. You can set them aside to use in another craft, or toss them if you don't want to keep them for another craft. Throw the box away. We're going to go ahead and open up our other one, and that'll give that time to cool down. So we're just using two, and it does not matter what color of these trees you buy, because they're not going to show very much at all. So the Dollar Tree usually has trees out for every season. Right now, I think they even have some pastel ones out for Easter, and you can use those if you don't have any of the Christmas green ones. But it really doesn't matter what color of the miniature Christmas trees that you get. You will just need to use two of these to make this project. So the next thing you're going to do is just take your sandpaper and you're going to sand in a downward motion, being careful not to scratch the vinyl that's on the wood. You just want to take that excess off the edge there. See how that just comes off? And I'm going to do that all the way around, and then we'll be right back. I'm going to speed up the video. Once you're done sanding it, we want to press it one more time with the heat press. You want to make sure you use an ironing mat if you're going to iron, or an ironing board. We're going to take that parchment paper. Always remember, use parchment paper. And we're going to press it now one more time for 25 seconds at 315. This will be the final time we press it on this side. And then you're going to repeat. I knocked my camera, sorry y'all. You're going to repeat the process on the other side of the bunny. All right, and once you've done the other side, you can go ahead and turn your Cricut press off, which I've already done. I've already put the vinyl on the other side. The only thing you may need to do once you're finished is go back over it and sand again. All right. It is a little bit of a process, y'all, but this surface turns out looking so pretty. And it's going to have the natural wood on the sides. So it turns out so professional looking, y'all. It's so cute. I love it. Okay, now we're going to take our Christmas trees and we're going to shape these. Okay, what you want to do is you want to pull even amounts of your tree over to each side, and you want to just pull them straight off the base. Okay, so we've got 4 on this side, and if they're not exactly even, guys, it's okay. It's the Dollar Tree after all, and there's 5 on one side and 4 on the other on this one. And then you want to come up to the next level and do the same thing. Just pull 1 to each side straight out until you have them as even as you can get them. Okay, and this is what this is going to do. It's going to give us a strong base so that it'll keep our swag upright. Okay, all right, guys, let's continue to pull. And you're going to have several sections on each tree. Okay. Just pull them out like this until you have all the ones for each section. And then the little section at the very top. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this last big piece off. Okay, so this is kind of what you're left with. Now what we want to do is we want to take the 2 that are like on the top, take 2 in each section that are on the top, pull them up. Okay, and we're going to use this to help us attach the deco mesh to our wreath board and to our swag. So 2 up on each side. Now when you get over here to these smaller ones, and actually, guys, we only need to do this on every other one. So you're going to pull 2 up here, leave 1 down, 2 up here, leave 1 down. And then these we're just going to leave alone because they're too short to use. So we're going to do that on both of our trees. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to try to make all these about the same length. So you're just going to take the ends of the ones that are down and just fold them in like so that they're all approximately the same length down here. Now leave these ones up that we put up, but the other ones you just want to take it and bend it over on itself so that kind of makes the legs underneath the swag. Okay, so we're going to do that on both. Okay, so we got those ready. Go ahead and scoop up some of these green pieces that fell off. Okay, now on this end over here, we want to take a couple of pipe cleaners. I'm going to twist one and pull it that way. We're going to twist one and pull it that way. So what we've essentially done is made 2 more sprigs on each side over here on this end. And then you're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Now we've got those ready. Okay, next we're going to bring these together, and then we're going to take our little bunny, we're going to set him down, and I like to start with one side first. We're going to set him down, and then we're going to push him all the way up to these sprigs here. Okay, and then we're going to take a pipe cleaner, and we're going to double a pipe cleaner just for more security here. And you're just going to twist it, kind of twist one around the other to make that a little bit stronger. You can also use the greenery ties that they have. If you don't, if you have some on hand that you want to use up. But all we're going to do is we're going to take this. First, we're going to put it around the bottom part on our wood rail here. We're going to twist it a couple times. Okay, then we're going to take it. We're going to stand it up right here. And then we're going to bring that around a couple of those ties that are sticking up and twist it. You want to get it really tight, guys. Get it as tight as you can get it. Pushing it up against the bottom part, and you want this to be sitting down flat. And then you're just going to take and twist that in there like that. Okay, we want to stand the bunny up. Stand the bunny up like so, and then we want to wrap it. Okay, just hold that down with your finger. You want to make sure you kind of overlap that first piece and just wrap it. Wrap it with your bunny standing up. You're going to wrap it going down. And I tell you what we'll do here, guys, is we're going to go ahead and take, if it's leaning a little bit, don't worry, because we're going to put the other one on this side and it'll pull him up straight. I'm going to go ahead and twist a couple pipe cleaners together and go ahead and wrap it closer together going down that entire metal base of that tree, because I think it'll be more secure if I do that. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to wrap it. Make sure your bunny's still standing up. Okay, and just wrap your pipe cleaner tightly around it. You know, they have different rail boards beside the bunny if you don't want a bunny. I just like the bunny because he looks the same from both sides. And if you want to have a table swag, they had some that said Happy Easter, but if you put the Happy Easter one down on the table, it'd be backwards on one side. But see now how we have our bunny standing up. And we're going to do the same thing over here, but this time we're going to come on this side of the rail board with our tree. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the wrapping process on this other miniature Christmas tree. I'm going to speed up the video and I'll be right back. Next, I'm going to use a roll of 21-inch mesh. You can buy deco mesh at any craft store. And then we're just going to take our bunny swag, and I want to attach some more pipe cleaners. Okay, because we're going to want to come across our bunny. So I want to take and put one pipe cleaner at the base here on each side. Okay. And we want one over here. And then one over on the other side. We're just taking it and wrap it around, evening up the ends, and then twisting it a few times. Nothing hard about this, y'all. You can do it. What we're going to do is I want to start not on the very end, but I'm going to start on one side of my swag on this second set of ties that I have here. Okay, so you're going to take your mesh, move these out of the way, trash there. Okay, you're going to take your mesh, unroll it just a little bit, and you want to just scrunch this end from one side, the edge from one side to the other. And you see I've got some little spriggy things sticking up. What I like to do after I scrunch it together is just cut that straight across. So I have a nice clean end there to start with. Okay, you want your edges to roll under. Okay. And then we're just going to take this piece, we're going to go to the center of our swag, because that will hide this end piece very well. And then we're going to just take the two twisties from the tree, and you want to make it really tight and just twist it a couple times. Okay, then what we're going to do, you'll either need a ruler or you'll need a mat to measure. And on my board here, I've got some numbers. And what I want to do is measure out 10 inches. So I'm going from 10 to 20 inches. And then we want to go back halfway, which is around 15. And then we're going to take that and put it into this poof right here. We're going to take our poof and put it down into the next two ties heading up our wreath board. Okay, and then we're going to twist that a few times. And then you want to go ahead and fluff out your poof. You want to take those ends and tuck them under. Okay, and I'm working backwards the way that I normally do, so let me turn this around. It's more comfortable for me to go from left to right. Okay, so you want to take the mesh, you want to take those ends, make sure they're folded under, and you want to take and measure out a 10-inch poof, and then we're going to go from here to here. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit poofy, but that's okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and attach that in right here. Twist a couple times, and then go ahead and fluff out that poof. And you want to take those ends, the edges, and make sure they're kind of down on the bottom when you're fluffing out your poof. Okay, now we're going to go from here all the way over to here. So we're going to measure out about a 10-inch poof, go about. Okay, then we're going to come back and attach him in right down here on these two that we had loose. 1, 2, 3. Just kind of stick those up again, and you're just going to continue to do this all the way down this side. Okay, so you're going to measure from 10 to 20, and then come back to where your ties are. Twist it a few times. Make sure you get it really tight on that bottom twist so it doesn't move and shift around in your design. Tuck those edges under, fluff up your poof. Okay, now when you get to the end, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to measure out 10 inches, and we're going to come right here to where we made that extra tie with our pipe cleaners. You're going to tie it in. Okay. Get it really tight on the bottom, twist it a couple more times. Then we're going to make an 8-inch poof, because we're going to go from here to here. So you want to kind of round it to make the end little poof, okay? Then you're going to take this twisty tie right here, and you're going to twist it, tie it in there. Same thing, just poof, fluff out your poof. Make sure the edges of your deco mesh are tucked under on the bottom, like just tucked under, you know, here and there, and that'll keep it from fraying and getting caught on stuff as badly. All right, now because I like to work from left to right, I'm going to unroll a little bit of my mesh and turn my bunny over here. Okay, and I'm going to get to my 10-inch mark on my mat, measure out 10 inches, and then I'm going to come back to these two on this side and just put my poof. Looks like that's a little more than 10 inches. Let me look at that. No, it's 10 inches. Okay, go ahead and stick it down in between these two right here. Make sure that bottom twist is really tight. Twist it a couple more times. All right, and then we're going to go 10 to 20. Come right here. See how easy this is, y'all? You can do this, and look how cute it's turning out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Fluff out your poof. Tuck those edges under. Okay, then we're going to go from 10 to 20 again. And remember, we're going to bring this one shorter to right here on this side. Okay. Where's that? There we go. Just make sure your first twist is tight all the way down to the bottom of the mesh, and then twist it a couple more times. Fluff out your poof. It's easier to fluff out your poofs as you go along. If not, you're going to have a bunch of poofs to puff out. Unroll our mesh a little bit more. Now we're going to go from here all the way down to this end, okay? So 10 to 20. And then we're going to tie that in with the two greenery twig sprigs that we had hanging out down here on this end. 2, 3. Okay, then we're going to fluff out that poof. Tuck those edges under to decrease the risk of fray, and it just makes it look more finished and pretty. Okay, another 10-inch poof. Bring it down right here. Okay. Whoop, I'm pulling one from the other side across from it. I was like, why do I have 3 of them sticking up? That's why I like to go ahead and bend those extra ones out of the way so it's not as frustrating. That's something I figured out yesterday when I was designing this and learning how to make my first one. That will save you a lot of aggravation if you do that before you start forming your poofs. Okay, we're going to go from 10 to 20. Come over here to our twist ties. And stick that in, make sure that bottom one's tight, then twist it a couple more times to secure it. All right, remember, when we get to the very end, we're going to do an 8-inch poof. So we'll go out to just 8 inches, kind of curve it around, bring it over here to our pipe cleaners, and then we're going to twist it. Make sure that first one is really tight. Twist it a couple more times. Okay, now this next poof, oh, we got to fluff that one out. And the one before it too, don't we, guys? Okay, there's our little end poof. And if you forget to fluff them, you can go back at the end and do it, but it's just a lot of fluffing at the end. And I like to see the shape of it as I'm going, because it helps when you're placing your poofs to know exactly where they need to be fluffed and poofed as you're going along. So we're going to do our last one on this side. And what we're going to do, where we started, we're going to take that and untwist it, except for the very bottom twist. We're going to leave that very bottom twist twisted. Okay, then we're going to do our 10-inch poof. Bring it over here, lay it on top, and then you're going to twist it a few more times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we are going to take our mesh. Okay, I'm going to fluff that poof up. Get your edges tucked under. Edges tucked under, and just fluff out your poof. Okay, fluff it up. Be careful not to snag your mesh when you're doing this. If you have a ring, you may want to take them off when you're working with mesh so you don't snag the mesh with your ring. Okay, now this end is looking pretty cute, but what we're going to do, we're going to come from the center right here, and we want to take this and go down the center of our swag. Okay, and I want to have one more poof right here. So we're actually going to make a double poof. We're going to come here, down the center. Okay, come here, back one. Okay, then we're going to take this, turn our swag around, and we're going to come on this side of the end poof. Okay, we want to go over the end poof, and we're just making a teeny tiny poof here. We're doing the 8-inch, and we're going to bring it here, and that's going to help fill in this little gap right here. Okay. All right. I got stuff in the way, y'all. I need to get it out of the way so I can move the bunny over here. All right, make sure that first one's tight. Twist a couple more times. Spread out that poof. Make sure your ends are tucked under. And that will just kind of fill that up. So we just went from there to here, and we made sure we came on top of that end little round poof. Okay, now, get my mesh turned over here. You want your edges to be on the bottom. We're just going to spread apart our mesh, and we want to take one twist tie from each side. Okay, just one. And we want to tuck the mesh poof right in there and use one from each side, the one that's kind of in the center. So we're going to get our 10 to 20 inch measurement, and we're going to make one more set of poofs going up the center of our swag here. And don't cut off your ties yet, because we're going to use those to attach some ribbon. Okay, so we're just going to twist that, poof up your mesh, tuck the ends under. We're going to do the same thing here, 10 to 20. And you want to make sure you just take one tie from each side, and you want to go up the center of your mesh. Okay, put it down in there. Twist them together. Pull it really tight on the bottom. And don't worry about these greenery sprigs. We're going to be trimming those off after we get our swag finished here. Okay, just poof up your mesh. Spread it out. Fluff it up. Need to fluff this one a little bit more, I think, guys. Just tuck those ends under and kind of fold it back inside, and that'll help keep your poof. That's why I like using the 21-inch mesh, because you can use it to fold it back on itself when you're tucking those edges under, and it helps keep the poofs really nice and full. Okay, we're going to follow the same pattern that we did, but this time we're going to take, see how we have a long poof and then we have a short poof? We want to do the opposite when you're coming up the center. So we're going to take this piece that's across from it, take these two twisty ties, and we're going to do a 10-inch poof, even though it's long, shorter section. And we're just going to stick that one right there and kind of make your twist tie be right on top by the bunny. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Poof it. And then I kind of tuck it down inside that poof that's on the side right there. And then we're going to take this one, go from 10 to 20. We want to stick these pipe cleaners up and push them kind of toward the center so we can use them on the other side. And then we're going to come all the way over to here and attach that one. That just gives it a little bit of variety here in the center, and it doesn't make the mesh be identical on each side. And I'll show you what I mean once I get these poofs a little bit more fluffed. See, then when you look at it from the side, it's almost like it's twisted kind of, you know, on itself. It just gives it a little bit prettier appearance. All right, so we're just going to continue to go up the center over here. All right, and we want to take 2 of these twist ties and go right here. Okay. Twist it. All right, and then we want to come down here and we want to go down the center and attach it right here. Using the 2 center ties over here. Now, wait a minute, actually, I forgot. We're going to come here and use this one. Y'all, I've only made one of these before this one, so I'm still trying to remember my design, so I apologize. We're just going to fluff those poofs up, spread them out. And then remember here, we're going to go across from one side to the other. We're going to do an 8-inch poof from here to here. Okay. We want to make sure we leave this poof on the end, and we're going to come across here to kind of fill in this area. Okay, you want to make sure you pull those twist ties tight. And then spread out your mesh, make your poof fluffed out. Okay. Make sure those edges are tucked under and then folded back on themselves a little bit, and that will help hold the poof up and make it not be so flat. Okay. All right, let's get this little guy around my phone stand here. Okay, now we're going to come back up the middle again over to the bunny till we get all the way back down this side. So you're going to have 2 pieces of mesh coming up the middle. Total of 4 rows of mesh. All right, so we want to come right here, and you're going to untwist these twist ties where you just twisted in that middle mesh over here, and we're going to share that tie. Okay, measure our 10 inches. We're going to put this piece of the mesh in the center one again. Okay, using the 2 center twists, and then twist them a couple more times. Fluff that out. And y'all, if you don't do this exactly the way I do, I'm just trying to be real regimented if you've never made one before, so you'll know the exact process I'm using. But if you, just as long as you fill in the gaps as you're going down, it doesn't really matter if you do it exactly like this. Just use the ties and fill in the gaps as you're going down, okay? Now here, we're going to share it again. So just push that mesh down, lay your new poof on top. Okay, and then you're going to twist it a couple more times. Get your edges folded under, and then fluff out your poof. See how nice and full this is getting, guys? Okay, now we're going to, remember we put these two twisty ties from this side, pulled them over here, and we're going to make a short poof, but we still want it to be full. So we're going to do a 10-inch poof, and then we're just going to bring it right here. So it kind of mirrors what we have on the other side of the bunny. Pull that first one really tight, then twist it a couple more times. Fold your edges under. Just kind of use your thumbs, fold the edges under, and then fluff up your poof. Okay, now we're going to go from here all the way back down to this edge. Remember, it's going to kind of have that twisted look on the side. So let me measure out my 10-inch poof. I'm going to actually make it a little bit longer, maybe another inch. Okay, and then I want to untwist what I've got here. Get down to the mesh. Where you see that mesh, okay, you want to push that mesh down. Stick your new piece of mesh in there. And you want to make sure you've got that twisted good and tight on that first one, and then twist it a couple more times. Fold your ends under. I know I keep saying the same thing over and over, guys, but I did want to show you the whole process. Okay, now we're getting to the end, and this is where we started. So we're only going to do one more poof. Okay, and then we're going to finish right here. So we want to take this one, because we've already done the poof going across, and this is the only place where we haven't done a piece of mesh coming up the middle on this side of our design. So we're just going to unwrap that till we see the mesh, press it down, do our 10-inch poof, stick it down in there, make sure that first twist is really tight, then twist it a couple more times, and then we want to gather all of our mesh up right here, and we're going to cut this off. Now I do still have some mesh left on my roll. I'm not going to throw this away because I can use this on a another wreath to use up under the bow, where I can use it as an accent mesh. Don't throw away your extra mesh, guys. You can always find a use for it. All right, last thing I want to do here is just fluff up this last poof. Okay, guys, and this is what we have so far. Okay. All right, on the bottom, what I want to do now, I'm going to turn it on its side. I want to take these little sprigs that are our base, the stand on the bottom, and the section of mesh that is on the bottom of your design. We want to pull it over the ones that are our stand on the bottom. Now, you don't want to cover up the ones on the top layers, because those you're going to use to attach your ribbon. But these here down on the bottom, you're just going to take the mesh, and you can even fold it over a little more if you want to, so you don't pull your mesh. You just want to take that and pull it over those end pieces, okay? And you're really not going to be able to see it. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to take those little legs that we made. Now, the only ones I don't worry about really are the ones here on the end, because they're not really going to show. But these longer ones, I just take the lower layer of your mesh that's along the bottom and just kind of pull it over your twigs. And you can put two of them in one, it doesn't matter. Okay, just take that lower layer of mesh, We're not taking these that are up here because we're going to use those to attach some ribbon. Okay, and then just kind of fluff it up. If you see the greenery coming through, you can kind of bend it over a little more so the greenery's not coming through so prominently. But just cover them up with your lower level of mesh. Okay, and then when we turn it back up, on the sides, you can't really see, other than the ones we're going to use to attach ribbon, you can't really see the greenery there on the bottom anymore. Okay, now the last step, we're going to attach some ribbon. Okay, so you just want to take and pull your greenery sprigs back over to the side where you have 2 on each side, except right here near the bunny where you just have 1 on each side. Okay, so you want to get your 2 pieces. Some of them may be short, but it's okay. You're not going to need very much to attach some ribbon ties. We've got 2 on each side except right up near the bunny. Okay, so we're going to just pull those up where you can see them. It'll make it a lot easier when you're actually attaching the ribbon ties if you have these already kind of pulled up and in place ready to go. Okay. All right, where's my, there it is. Go ahead and get them kind of pulled up and pulled over. And then the pipe cleaner's down here at the bottom. See why we couldn't use those little short pieces at the top of the Christmas tree to secure our mesh and our ribbon ties, y'all? They're just not long enough. Okay, so we have that done. I'm going to put this to the side. And now what I like to do is use a couple different types of ribbon to just give it a little bit more interest and make sure they're a coordinating ribbon. I buy my ribbons at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, online. I'll order them from resupply stores, and I also have a wholesale supplier. And I got this one at decoexchange.com. And then this one I bought from a local wholesale supplier to kind of coordinate with it. Now on the 1.5 inch ribbon, you're going to need 8 pieces, 14 inches long. So we're cutting these 22 inches. So 8 pieces of ribbon at 14 inches long and 4 pieces at 22 inches long. Okay, that's the formula I'm using today. You can change that if you want to make your poofs a little bigger. Your loops. On these, we're making some loops. And then the pink and white stripe, we're just going to use those to make some ribbon tails. These are going to have a loop and a tail. Okay, so for these, we're going to measure in about 6 inches. Actually, let's cut our dovetails first. To cut it, I've shown y'all how to do this before, but I'll explain it really quickly again. You're going to fold the ribbon in half. You want to make sure that your edges are even. You're going to cut from the folded side up to the open ends in just the shape of a little triangle. Okay, and that's going to give you your ribbon tails. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. Now I'm going to take our pieces that are 2.5 inches wide, and again guys, these are about 22 inches long. We're going to take them and measure up about 5 inches, about 5.5 inches. We're going to scrunch it, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to measure up about 5.5 inches, and we're going to scrunch it up the other side, and then we're going to bring them together, and that's going to make our little loop. Okay, we're going to come up here let's see, we said we were going to put them right by the bunny. So I'm just going to unwrap a little bit of the ribbon, and I'm going to lay this in here on its side. And don't worry about it, that the loop's over there. We're going to fix that in a minute. Okay, you just want to pull that really tight and then twist it 2, 3, 4, about 5 times. And then we're going to cut that off, leave it about 3/4 of an inch. And then you're going to tuck that down into the wreath. We want to take one of the tails and put it on one side. Okay, and take the other tail and pull it over here on the other side. And then just kind of round your tails out and round your loop, okay? And I think for these, I want the loops to be this way. And guys, you can play with yours and however you want yours to be, go for it, okay? So I'm going to put that one there. And then I'm going to come to my next one. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure up about 5.5 inches, scrunch. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Measure up about 5.5 inches and scrunch. Put them together in the middle. Okay. Then come right here. And I like to unwrap it because I want it to be, you know, flush down. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay, I'm going to lay this one in toward the bunny just like I did on the other side. We want to make sure that bottom one is good and tight. Twist it about 5 times, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to cut that off. It's about 3/4 of an inch long. Then we're just going to take that and tuck it down into our swag there. Okay. And then we're going to turn that one kind of opposite that one. And then I want to take this ribbon right here and pull it over there right side up across the swag to the other side, okay? And then we'll do the final fluffing, and I'll put a picture up once I get it completely done. But that's basically all you do, guys, for those. And we have 2 more. We want to skip one and then put one of these here. So we're going to do it again. Now here, when you're putting it in, you're only going to need 2 of the twist ties. So the other 2 that you have here, go ahead and twist the 2 shorter ones together. Okay. And then the ones that you have spread far apart that are way down to the mesh, leave those there. So you're going to twist them, cut it to where there's about 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And then you want to just take that and you want to fold it over and push it down into your swag. And now you just have the 2 left right here that we're going to attach one of these ribbon ties into. Same process, guys. We're going to go about 5.5 inches, scrunch it. Come over here on the other end, about 5.5 inches, and scrunch it, fold it together. And this time, we're not gonna untwist it, but you just want to lay the ribbon down like so. Pull that first one really tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to cut that off till it's 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Get any loose greenery, pull it off. Then you want to take this and twist it down into your swag, the opposite side where you put your other one. We're going to pull our little loop up, and then we're going to pull our tails one to each side and just kind of fold them down there, guys, okay? And then you're gonna pull that ribbon loop down to where it covers up most of that greenery right there. You might see a little bit of it, guys, but it's not gonna matter. Okay? All right, we're gonna do the same thing on this end with those little loops. I'm gonna come right here, measure in about 5.5 inches. One more time over here. Pull it together. Okay, I should have done this first. Let's see. We're going to find the 2 longest pieces. And then we're going to take the two shorter ones, twist them together, cut it off, push this down to one side of your swag as far down as you can get it. Now these are ready, so I can still see where I scrunched it. So I'm going to get my tails even there. I'm going to scrunch across. Okay, I'm going to lay my loop down. Go ahead and twist that first one really tight, and then twist it several more times there. Cut it off to where it's a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch tall. And then we're going to take and fold that down the opposite side where we folded our last one. We want to turn that bottom tail over so it's got the right side up. Now if you have 2 directional ribbon, you won't have to worry about turning it over. Okay, then we're going to fluff up our loop. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. I know it's kind of hard to see I've got the camera down so low because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. But I will take a picture of it at the end so you guys can see. Okay, now we have our 1.5 inch pieces. And these, remember, we cut about 14 inches long. And once you cut the dovetails, it is going to shorten it a little bit. But you just want to find the center. You can fold it in half. Find your center. Okay, then you want to scrunch up the center. And you want to come over here to one of these little greenery sprigs on the sides that don't have anything in them yet. Put it all the way down. I like to go back down to the level of the mesh. Twist it 3 or 4 times. After that first one, I do about 5 times twisting on the very last piece. Then I cut that off to where it's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch long or tall, however you want to think of it. And then we're just going to take that greenery sprig and tuck it down into the mesh and then kind of pull that poof over it. And then you just want to take your hands and kind of round out. Use wired ribbon too, y'all. I didn't mention that. I always use wired ribbon on my swags and on my wreaths because it makes it so much easier. Now we're just going to go around the rest of the swag and put those in. I'll do that and I'll be right back. So we've got the ribbon all the way across. Isn't this adorable? We've got our ribbon all the way across. And it is two-sided, guys. We've got it on both sides. So the very last thing that I want to do is I want to add, this ribbon has like some yellow and some blue in it. And predominantly we've got pink and green on here. So I want to pull out some of the yellow and the blue. So Dollar Tree this year has these almost like a bowl filler type egg. They're glued with string, almost like a twine egg that has a firm base underneath it. So I'm going to take the blue and the yellow ones out of these packs. We're just going to take some hot glue and glue each of these in, kind of where those pink and white striped ribbons are. We're just going to put some hot glue across where the bars are, here and there. And then we're going to put a good dollop of hot glue right there in the middle. Okay. Now we're just going to hold it down there. And then I'm going to take the ribbon and kind of tap it up onto the egg to attach the ribbon to the glue that we just applied to the egg. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with the other 3 eggs. I'm going to speed up the video and I'll be right back when I'm done. Okay, guys, that's it. We are done. I will post a picture of the entire swag at the end of the video. If you're still here with me, I'd appreciate it if you would like the video. If you're not already subscribing, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you will not miss when I put out new content. I hope you give this a try. Thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed day.